I've always been really interested in finding out the truth about who I am and the depth of that, whether it's just like in this body, like what does the soul mean, and like what does it mean to exist in the universe, and is there life beyond what I can see, and what does that have to do with me? God was very important to me and still is. I was very interested in my own spirituality growing up. That was always the most important thing.
I'm gonna drink the Mississippi. I'm gonna drink till I go blue. I'm gonna drink the Mississippi. Then you'll know how much I care. Hello, Baltimore. Gonna move to the guitar. You're a strange creature.
I feel more supported here than probably any other place that I've lived.
Keep an eye out for that strange creature peeking up ahead. Strange creature. Keep an eye out for that strange creature.
The people that know me here in Baltimore have known me since I was like a kid.
I love to see some familiar faces over here. I've got some friends and family. What's up, guys?
I was here when I was very little, in like first grade, and then I came back for a few years in middle school, and this most recent time I've been here for like 2.5 years.
I can hide.
A big piece of me lives here in Baltimore. I look back on my upbringing with fond memories. I remember being really tight with my family, 6 of us, all redheads. My dad has been a pastor at many different churches.
I had one hand in my pocket with a watch on a silver chain.
I'm Jerry Harmon. I'm the senior pastor at Grace Bible Baptist Church. This is the church I grew up in, being from Baltimore, Catonsville area. I came back here because the founding pastor wanted to turn the church over to me. Providentially, God made it clear that we needed to move back here. Been here for 6 years now. Basically grew up in this church, went to college. That's how I come to know Carolyn.
You can keep what's in your pocket and your watch on a silver chain.
We've worked at Grace a few different times throughout our marriage. I would like to say I'm his helper in that ministry. At Hyles Anderson, it is really kind of a training ground for people who want to enter ministry. My choice of ministry was the bus route. It was in that ministry that I met my husband. Between morning church and night church, we would just hang out at McDonald's, and that's where I saw him for the first time. Redheaded, handsome guy, caught my eye, and the rest is history.
And all my life was frozen in a frame.
When we got out of college, you're looking for any place to serve. Part of it is too, you're trying to find yourself in ministry, trying to find your place, and it's not always easy. I got a lot of counsel that I should just go ahead and get a PhD. And that's a major move, trying to provide for your family, plus finish up the PhD program.
When you're in seminary, you kind of do what you need to do. We filled in at little churches as they needed us.
The focus was for me to finish the PhD. The other thing is finding a church that will allow you to do that study and also pastor, and yet at the same time not taking advantage of them, allowing them to grow, and if they wanted to bring in someone who was not in seminary, for me to graciously step aside and do that. So a lot of the moving around just had to do with, part of it was education, part of it was learning to find your place.
Knowing that in time I'll find my place.
From birth to age 17, I moved about 12 times.
Front entrance way.
It wasn't always easy moving, but I feel like I started to get used to it.
There's the Harmon kids right up there in the front.
I believe that all Christians are nomads. All of this is just temporary.
Goodbye, First Baptist. I thank you.
We moved around so much, it feels like no place is going to be permanent for very long.
Part of moving so often taught me to, I guess, attach more closely to my family members.
Sing with the music. Put the broom down.
Eventually it got to a point where we go somewhere and we don't make super close friendships because we don't know how long we'll be there.
Just neon halos, stealing glory from the stars.
I think we just did our best to make home wherever we were, and that was with each other.
When you move, your friends are your siblings, and so you guys just become best friends.
We were kids, so it wasn't like, what do you think about this move? It was just like, let's just be together and take our minds off of everything.
Stained glass windows.
I was closer to Abby growing up and would kind of like shadow her when we would go to church and hang out with other kids because I was kind of shy and she was more outgoing. So I always kind of felt like her friends were my friends.
Jeremiah has always been a little more reserved and quiet than other people. Not necessarily with me.
Hey, still living, I see him. Jeremiah, the tape is ending. Hurry up and eat it.
She black.
She would prank me a lot. We got into it a few times, but we were really tight.
All of my memories with him were really great. He was my rock, sort of, through college, through moves.
Jerry, you hoped for it, you reached for it, you got it. Congratulations on happy graduation.
I recognize that it's hard on a family. Me, especially as a father, I was sensitive of how it hurt him.
I think my dad feels bad sometimes about moving so often. He was just trying to figure out how to continue his education and better himself so that he could provide for us in a better way.
This says Dr. Jeremiah Harmon, PhD, May 12, 2006.
I tried to make it exciting for our children.
Show you're true.
I was homeschooled mostly through elementary and high school.
It was kind of out of necessity at first, and then it became out of preference. We enjoyed the flexibility. We could travel if we needed to, take our schoolwork with us, make our own schedule.
She did a good job of making a structured environment for us. She made sure we got into extracurricular activities where we could interact with other kids our age. Lots of church around me, lots of music around me.
I did require all 4 of our kids to take piano lessons. That was a big part of their education for their music credits. Not all of them loved that. We're about to begin recording a recital.
I wasn't the best student, I did not really like piano lessons most of the time because I wasn't great at sight reading. Anytime that I sat down on the piano, I would get distracted and play something else that I thought was cool, or like I would make something up.
Something that she really instilled in us is like, once you sign up to do something, you do it.
Anyway, are you nervous about today's recital?
No.
Look up. Are you nervous?
No.
I appreciated that I was able to learn certain techniques. I was exposed to some classical music that I really enjoyed.
Jeremiah's talent showed at a very early age. He began just to sit down and play, and then all of a sudden he was playing things that the music was not in front of him. He was playing by ear.
I think she tried to stay on top of me with my schoolwork, but also give me a chance to develop these talents that I had.
My role in churches has mostly been in music. Choir director, soloist, music coordinator.
She loved music. She grew up singing. She taught us how to sing, gave us all a love for it.
3 of them did voice lessons. It was definitely a dream of mine to sing with all 4 children.
Maker of each moment, Father of my hope and freedom.
She was my main influence. I could see that she sang with her heart, and that affected me as a kid.
It was always very natural for Jeremiah just to take a microphone and sing. There was a particular song that he sang, I believe it was about age 10. I Can Only Imagine. To this day, I have people commenting about that song that he sang when he was 10.
Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak it all? I can only imagine.
That was like my funeral song. That was the dirge, but it's not a dirge, it's like a really inspiring tune.
Right after that, anytime there was a funeral, there was this request, can Jeremiah come and sing I Can Only Imagine?
As weird as it was singing at everybody's funeral, it was also like very developmental for me in learning how to sing in front of people.
So I reached out to Jesus, crying, Lord, hear my plea. For I want you to take all of me.
An amazing voice, an incredible range. I've heard that for years. It's not just a vocal talent. It's an ability to connect with those who are in your audience.
I think he ministers to people when he sings.
That was a ministry that I was happy to do because I enjoyed singing. I didn't have to sell anything to people. And I felt like I was able to connect with God too through music.
5 moons and I will be back from the wild.
That was the world that I lived in. Everything that was communicated to me was communicated through religious and spiritual language.
If you don't know this song, it's page 202, Amazing Grace. We're going to do the first verse and then the last one.
Somewhere along the line, he began to doubt a lot of things he was taught.
Shortly after I accessed the internet and just started consuming information ravenously, I started to doubt the system that I had been brought up in. I was discovering these parts of my personality and my sexuality. I remember the first boy that I was attracted to. I was very aware of what the Bible said about homosexuality growing up, and I was willing to suppress these parts of me and live in shame for the longest time.
And heaven knows our name, I'm sure of it now.
I didn't choose to be attracted to men. I felt powerless, and I felt like something was wrong with me, that I was broken and I needed to be fixed. I was afraid of myself, and I was afraid of other people that might reveal that part of myself.
The sky glows over the silver sea, dear, and when we don't know where to be, dear, the mirror will take us home.
It was a little scary to consider the possibility that what I have believed in for so long may not be totally sound. I felt the weight of that as I was scrutinizing this worldview, but at the same time I felt compelled to venture into the unknown. Lynchburg is definitely one of the places that I consider home. This was the first place that I lived once I moved out of the house. I went through a lot of change, started writing and performing my own music for the first time in Lynchburg. Learned a lot about myself and developed creatively and personally, made a lot of really lasting friendships.
I listen slipping into a dream.
I came to Lynchburg in 2011 to start attending at Liberty University. I sang on a gospel choir for scholarship.
Don't give up on God, 'cause He won't give up on you. He's able.
When Jeremiah left our house, Jeremiah was this spiritual, godly kid. 2 years later, I didn't really know who he was.
I stopped going to Liberty for the first time in 2013 because I had been in Alaska. One of my best friends had gone the summer before I went and came back with like all these pictures and stories. It was on the ride back to school, late November of 2012. I was just like sitting in the back of the car and I was like, you know what? I want to go to Alaska.
I want to go to Alaska. I want to see the Milky Way sky. I want to jump.
We were all stationed on a small island for about 5 months and would take little boats out and pick the nets 3 times a day. There wasn't any like internet or television or phone service up there. There was no like anything within like a hour-long plane ride. I was away from the noise for the first time.
If only I could tell what was on the other side.
I was pretty much just fishing and reading and like playing music. I had some time to think, to process a lot about myself and my place in life.
I saw a marked change from the Alaska trip. Started questioning the Bible, questioning the exclusive nature of the gospel.
He kind of went through a lot spiritually. He was a lot more detached. He didn't speak to me, at least, about what was going on.
I think that the direction of his life permanently changed.
I came back with some different ideas about how I wanted to express myself. Before then, I'd sort of just agreed with whatever was happening around me, and I think one of the things that I've had to come to terms with is that I have a lot of questions and I doubt things in general. Maybe I'll never have the answers about whether or not God is like a human male figure that dominates all of the universe and beyond. A lot of those are just symbols that humans need to contextualize a transcendent truth with our very human experience. I think in some ways I came to appreciate Christianity in a deeper way. It was all of a sudden this mysterious world of symbols that I didn't have the answers to. And that's a beautiful thing to me as an artist, because that's what I use to make my own art. Songwriting and painting was how I would process all these thoughts. Lynchburg was a very developmental time for me in that regard. I felt this excitement to reinvent myself.
And my tower's 2, 3, 3, 2 running. No looking back until I shoot the gun.
met Jeremiah through Liberty. We just caught wind of each other's music, and somehow we're housemates for 3 years. When I lived with him then, it was mysterious. There's a dude with Jeff Buckley's voice, and he's right downstairs making like works of art, making hits.
One of the kindest people I've met by a long shot. It was really cool living with him for the few months that I did. He actually gave up his painting room in this apartment for me to be able to come and live there with them for a while. Interesting because I didn't really know him very well. When we lived together, every once in a while, to hear the stuff he was doing and, you know, blow me away.
Go back to the beginning of the road. Also, remember the directions you were told.
I feel like Jeremiah was trying to find himself or lose himself to find himself in that time.
The creative community here gave me permission to be myself. I was experimenting with different costumes and even just like the structure of songs themselves. You know, I was really into jazz music. In a way, it was like this phase of me throwing tradition behind and carving out this new expressive path.
From zero, we're getting everywhere and nowhere, man.
Lynchburg has always been this like launch pad for creatives.
It used to be serpent on a flower.
It can be anything you want it to be. For us, it was a festival. I used to be in a band called Glass Oaks, and we started the festival Woodstock. This was a pure example of what community can do if it just organizes itself and has a mission.
It was started for local musicians to have somewhere to play and play for each other, and it grew to be pretty big.
So hey, everybody, thank you guys so much for being a part of the Harding Street Assembly stage all freaking day.
It set up a sense of pride, a sense of ownership for a local art scene. It's a celebration of what is and like a vision cast for like what is to come.
If it wasn't for that festival, I feel like Jeremiah wouldn't have had the moment he had to really like catch early attention and plant himself.
I really discovered what it was like to exist in a creative community. So we're all musicians, we're all just trying to do our own thing, and we all deeply encouraged each other and believed in one another. All these guys, these local guys, were like, hey, you should come play the festival, you know? I had never played at a festival before that.
That guy right there, I don't know if you can really see him. I'll try and lighten it up. His name is Jeremiah, but he goes by Lloyd Harmon, and he's a little weird, but he's really, really talented.
I remember the first time I ever saw Jer perform. He gets up there with his guitar when he's singing Every Jungle is a Zoo, and I never heard anything like that before. I was utterly enchanted.
Go on and eat me if you want, like it's your shit. Ha 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 ha, let the tiger teach you about the rules of the jungle. I want you there.
We made like crazy space outfits for him, like Space Lord outfits for him and the band.
I was so consumed with curiosity and amusement. I hung around because it sounded so good.
I won't be neglected, I won't be denied the pleasure of your kisses and the pleasure of your smile.
He was just a performer who plays really well and delivers great vocals, music, writing.
I was under the impression that if he wanted to make it big, you know, have a big following, he could attain that for sure.
I miss you, baby. It's been so long.
I listened to the entire set and the whole thing, it really did blow me away.
I miss you, baby. Miss you, baby.
He doesn't just attract people who are into what he's doing, he just attracts. It really doesn't matter what else you're into, you're probably gonna get caught up in his web. Like, he's just that good.
It wasn't until like early 2016 when Nathan invited me to be a part of Harding Street. Harding Street Assembly Lab is the small label that's run by just some local people here in Lynchburg.
I run the Harding Street Assembly Lab with my wife. We've been doing that for about 10 years. At the time, we were in like the mid-20s in terms of our Harding Street release catalog. We were really considering what we want to do to take Harding Street to a higher level. And we thought a great way to do that would be to connect with some of the people that are playing at Lynchstock. We reached out to him and we're like, hey, we would love to figure out a way to put a record out with you. Those conversations continued. We weren't really even sure of how that would work. He was working out the opportunity for Chris Schlarb to come out to Lynchburg to record. I'd known Chris independently of Jeremiah. He was part of that Long Beach scene out in Southern California.
I saw Saint Cherry dressed up with nothing.
Mostly I'm just a father, a husband. I've been playing music, I guess professionally since high school. A few years ago, my wife and I opened the studio, Big Ego. I've got an interesting relationship with the city of Lynchburg. Years and years ago, I booked a show with my group Psychic Temple through Nathan McLaughlin.
Psychic Temple was coming out to the East Coast. He's like, hey man, we should get a show together. And we brought him to Speaker Tree. And that, I think, is how Joel ended up meeting Chris.
Glass Oaks opened for us and Joel was singing.
It was a really good show on both ends. We were like stoked on his live music. Came up to the merch table and asked him for pointers. He said, really man, it was a good show, I liked it. But Tom Petty's advice, don't bore us, get to the chorus. And I was like, dang, I've heard that.
We kept in touch. A few years later, he asked if I'd be interested in producing a record for him. He couldn't come out here, so I kind of floated the idea that, hey, I can come out to you. I could just put a little, mobile rig together, and if you have a space, I can cut a record. He goes, okay, let's do this, but you also got to hear my friend Jeremiah. This guy's great. And I said, send me his stuff. And I was just listening to demos, and I was like, holy shit, yeah, he is great. Like, this is like clearly evident.
Good enough to keep you coming back for more. I'll pacify you.
Jeremiah may get a little embarrassed about this, but the funny thing is, I'd already had my plane ticket. I was going out there, and he calls and he's like, Chris, listen, I don't have the money to pay you for this record. And I said, I really don't give a shit. Like, I already have my plane ticket. Like, I got all my gear. What the hell am I gonna do out there? You know what I mean? I'm just gonna sit around for a week and just like twiddle my thumbs because you don't have the money. Like, let's make the record. You can pay me whenever.
33,
I was intimidated by him at first, to be honest. You could tell that he like really knew his stuff and was a professional. I was just this amateur guy from Virginia, I never recorded before.
We cut both of these records in Jeremiah's living room because he and Joel, I think, were living in the same place at the time.
His treatment was a mattress behind the drum set, a mattress in front of the fireplace to cancel out some of those weird reflections. I think like a blanket or two, like over windows.
I just did the best I could. We had the drums and the bass and everything was just set up. Everybody was super close together. And the funny thing is, like, that's how I like to work anyway. I would prefer that rather than being in like a big fancy studio where everybody's far away and saying, I can't hear so-and-so, or can you give me more of this in my headphones? Like, none of that has anything to do with music.
Chris Schlarb is a cult leader. He's a mystery, a bit of it. He definitely stretches you as an artist. I don't know, as a producer at least.
I worked on that record for him for a week while I was out there, and honestly, probably another week back here. So I felt like I got to know him pretty well.
I learned a lot from Chris that week that we recorded. It was nice to say that we did that and that we could do more things like that in the future. It was like the first big project for me. I think it was a pretty accurate expression of like where I was in life at that time. I was still carving out my own path creatively. I think that's kind of what you hear. I think I had a pretty open mind as to where my music would go after Lynchburg. But I knew that I wanted to write simpler songs. And I knew that I wanted to get closer to like a more vulnerable form of expressing myself.
And I will learn to love again.
I dated a girl for like 3 years while I lived in Lynchburg. It was my first real relationship. She was a lover.
In the wake of all my past mistakes, I still remember you.
I felt like it was right. It was the right thing to do, to date a woman.
I believed in reasons 'cause I wanted them.
I think that was maybe an expectation that I was trying to fulfill. Maybe this expectation that I had for myself.
Darling, it can be so cold for only one.
She was actually one of the first people that I came out to. What I told her at the time was that I was experiencing attraction to men. I was like painfully real about who I was at one point, and I think it just got to this phase where neither one of us saw it working out. We both really cared about each other. We were sort of on this path of getting engaged and maybe getting married, and I was honest. As painful as it was at times, it's better to be acutely painful than chronically like dysfunctional and like damaging.
Darling, it can be so cold for only one to make it through, but I will learn to love again like I never have before. I owe it to my life to find where it begins. When all it was ended, I learned to love again.
Learn to Love was written about that time in my life where I need to learn how to like love myself so that I can love others truthfully and authentically. All right, well, I guess let's warm up a little bit. Okay, Lord, our Lord, thy glorious name, page 163. Once I left Lynchburg, I kind of took advantage of a situation where I didn't have to pay rent. I could live with my parents for a while, pay off the record in a timely manner.
We were helping him through school because when he was at Liberty, he got really bogged down. You could stay here, enroll in Towson, no charge for nothing. Just focus on your degree and get it done, and then move on with your life.
I felt a little hesitant to move back because I had already been out to my family and there had already been some like pretty strong disapproval expressed.
You can't just live any way you want to if you're a Christian. If you're a child of God and you're in the family of God, God's not going to let you live like the world. You can't just do whatever you want now because you name the name of Christ. We don't get the liberty to interpret the Bible our own way. You know, when the Bible says man shall not lay with mankind as with womankind because it's an abomination unto the Lord, what is unclear about that? In fact, I would go so far as to say that there's no such thing as being a homosexual. There are only acts that you do. It's not a noun.
I never have questioned my family's love for me, but there were some pretty strong fundamental disagreements, and I felt like they couldn't see a part of me.
Well, it was almost heaven, choir singing in robes of white, almost heaven.
I decided to go to American Idol mainly because they showed an interest in showcasing original music. I saw that as an opportunity to get my song out there.
Place where you and I may call home.
He had talked about that several times, I remember. I thought if he does get in front of the judges, the question to me was not if he would go to Hollywood, the question is how far would he go?
And it was almost heaven. Oh, it was almost heaven.
He never really followed up with me. But then I found out that he was actually on his way to New York. And then there's this other guy.
Jeremiah's trying out for American Idol tomorrow morning. Are you excited, Jeremiah?
I'm pumped.
I met Jeremiah in 2018 in February. I was working out at the YMCA. All of a sudden, somebody walks up to me and says, hey, he handed me his phone number, and it was on a 5x6 card, and he had song lyrics written on it.
It was super romantic, and I think he had like this moment where it was like, who does this? Like, we ended up getting food that night and have pretty much been seeing each other since.
Take what you need.
Good morning. I still can't remember everything that happened because it was like a blur to me in a way. I brought my guitar with me just in case they hated the first song on the piano. I never got to play my guitar ever actually on the show, but I brought it with me everywhere.
Oh, you make me feel hazy. I'm lazy in the morning.
My call time was 7 a.m. and my audition was like less than 10 minutes. At the very end of the day, it was a lot of nerves. I think that pressure brought out something special in that performance.
He sang, Almost Heaven, and Katy Perry and Luke Bryan and Lionel Richie were like, oh my God, that's amazing. Come stay in my apartment,
Your silver spoon has become my mirror.
I was like trying to stray away from saying the word gay because I didn't know what we were supposed to say. He said something about me being his boyfriend on camera. So I asked him like, what's going on with this whole like gay thing? I was like, did you tell them or something like that? And he was like, yeah, I told him. I told him in an interview that we're dating and you're my boyfriend and all this stuff. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, take what you need.
I had kept my family in the dark. I didn't want them to know that I was dating John. The episodes wouldn't have been aired for a couple months. I didn't want them to hear it on television for the first time.
I ain't gonna starve watching you dress your plate with a piece of my heart.
When he came back from the audition, I remember asking him how it went, and he said it went really well. And then somewhere along the line began to share with me that he told his story of coming out, so to speak, quote unquote, coming out.
I don't think he ever expected for his son to come out like I did.
That was a shock.
I really don't believe he was maliciously intending to hurt us.
We sat down and had a serious talk about that, and my counsel to him was, don't parade that on national television. This is something that's personal with our family. He looked at me and said, I can't promise you any of that.
Telling my story and finding some level of personal freedom was more important to me than keeping a job or having free rent or finishing my degree even.
Conversation was a little louder than normal that night.
I think he probably let off some steam.
And that's when I said, well, maybe you just need to, pack your stuff and hit the road.
I'm keeping no score. I don't wanna fight anymore.
It It got very intense, got very emotional. I went over to the church and I went to the front pew and I prayed. And I said, Lord, I don't want to compromise any of God's word or do anything that shames him. And I don't want to lose my son. And it came to me that moment that God devises means whereby his banished be not expelled from his presence. We're not talking about the institution of the church, we're talking about the family. And as family, we should always love each other. I went home and I apologized to Jeremiah and I said, you know, I'm not good at this. This is kind of the first time for me to go through something like this. And you'll always have a place here at my house, always.
I think he was sincere, and I think he is trying his best, honestly, to please God the best way that he knows how to, and to love his family.
God judges us as sons. God's not a passive Heavenly Father. He's someone who is radically involved in our life. And I told him, we're not going to let this separate us. The world's going to pull you one way. And if I have to choose between my church and my son, my ministry and my son, it's a no-brainer. That decision's already made. I choose my son. He is my ministry. He is my life. Now, it doesn't mean that I agree with what you're doing. You're not doing the right thing, and it's killing me.
At that point, it was just a matter of time until I made an arrangement to live somewhere else. That was no longer healthy for me or them. After my audition, I don't think I had any idea of how drastically my life was about to change.
My introduction to the show was my Hollywood Week experience. The only thing that I can remember from like Hollywood Week is that I was in strict military mode.
I was never one to build a castle in the sand.
The whole design of Hollywood Week is to put people under immense pressure and see who cracks and see who transcends the pressure.
They had 190 people trying out. Everyone got to sing like a 45-second clip of a song. And then they get to sing a minute of a song. We're talking like 8 to 12 hours of filming for those 2 days.
There were certain nights where you didn't get much sleep.
When it came time for group rounds, they kind of did a countdown and said 1, 2, 3.
They had a bunch of songs written on a piece of paper, and then everyone had to run down and pick the songs, and then they had to pick their own groups too.
We were practicing all night. I think we slept for maybe like an hour, and we had to perform maybe by like 8 a.m.
Dancing with people, working out these arrangements with total strangers.
We prayed a lot.
Someone's crying in the corner and you're like consoling them. When you see people get up on stage and like just mess up, it gets to you. I had to walk away at certain points and just like practice my own music and make sure that I was good.
So we pray for kingdom come.
Only 40 made it through.
Jeremiah ran up to me and like gave me a hug and was like, the next filming is in Hawaii. And I was like, what?
We were in Hawaii maybe for 2 weeks.
The competition in Hawaii was at the Alani Resort. It was way more laid back in Hawaii because there was just one concert. They probably had like 100 construction crew building up this huge set.
We really didn't start like really working until like the second week.
From Maryland to Hawaii, baby.
Just loving life, living.
No craps for us.
No craps for us.
But there it goes on.
Outside of the parents that had to be there for their minor kids, I was probably the person that was there the most.
John was so supportive through the whole thing. He was able to make it to every single performance.
I was just backpacking it, doing like real estate, trying to work, you know, in the middle of all that. But when the opportunity's there, like take advantage of it. And if I would have missed anything, then it's just, that's it. It's past now. We had some time to like drive over to the North Shore and go hiking. We hiked up to this waterfall.
Definitely would have struggled more if he had not been there.
Waving goodbye.
For the most part, it felt like a vacation. It may have seemed harder because you saw more of me like crying. And I just moved out of my parents' place the weekend before I went to Hawaii, getting ready to drop out of school and to quit my job. And I think you sort of got a snapshot into what it looks like when I'm dealing with a lot.
top 20 was different. That's where the game really starts. The show has aired, we're all verified. People, just the world is just critiquing us, writing on our pages. Just we're seeing all types of crazy things, good and bad.
I don't think any of us were really ready to be in the public eye on that level.
I feel like they really started to bond with each other at that point.
You become close with these people because you're going through the same challenges together. I remember really bonding with Demetrius.
He's younger than me, but he became like an older brother. He's just focused. So while I'm in the corner fussing with Wade about something that makes no sense, that's so stupid, Jeremiah's in his own world, just over there, just playing the piano or just practicing, just chilling, just minding his business. He loved all of us, but he was there to do a job. He has tunnel vision of what he wants, and that's inspiring.
I think I learned how to perform under pressure in new ways.
The top 10, it was way more serious. We was working every day, call times at 6 a.m.
Monday and Tuesday, it was just vocal coach rehearsals. Wednesday and Thursday is when we do stage run-throughs, camera blocking. Friday and Saturday, the dress rehearsals. Show days were the most intense days.
In that moment, it was a big struggle. You want to appeal to the judges and appeal to the execs and appeal to America.
It's television. I feel like I learned more about being in front of a camera than I did about music itself.
When you're on TV, there's so much going on. You just really gotta know who you are and just really stand firm. I was like, bro, you better show your ass. You better go up there and kill it and just try to really live in the moment. I think that everything happens for a reason. I learned so much and a lot came out of it, and I'm just blessed and I'm just grateful.
It's funny, I didn't really plan on going that far in the show, and at a certain point, all that exposure can really get to you. There had been all this pressure around what was happening at home. Are Jeremiah's parents ever going to come out and support him?
They have their shows on Sunday. I'm a pastor. I preach on Sunday. I can't just go every Sunday to hear my son sing.
They saw an amazing talent and a sad story, and they took it and ran with it.
What do you see?
We were being portrayed as these parents that threw Jeremiah aside, we cast aside our erring son. That's just not true, and that's not what Christian parents do.
We experienced hateful comments, both publicly and privately.
A lot of it was through social media.
'Cause who can you talk to?
My husband actually received some threats.
Threats about coming to the church and disrupting our assembly, personal threats. It's just people that really don't know us. They're making all kind of huge assumptions.
I think it probably all was recognized once we finally were able to get on the show.
Like a spiral staircase, lover, let's go down together.
When I heard that my parents were getting hate mail and threats that did not feel good, I felt partially responsible for that. The reality of the matter was that they had not cast me out. A few things that I did to give an accurate picture of what was happening at home was carry myself in a bit of a different way on camera, or posting a picture of me and my dad at lunch. We would have done that anyway. It was just more important than ever to document simple things like that.
I tell you, if there's anything I've learned through this issue with Jeremiah, it's to have compassion and love.
I think my dad is having to confront this whole new world now that I'm out.
In this journey with Jeremiah, I have more gay friends now than I ever had in my life. I've even had young men call me and talk and say, I wish you were my dad, because my dad didn't have any time for me after I came out. We may disagree on the issue, but it doesn't mean that we can't love and reach out to everyone.
Am I a picture in your frame?
When we arrived to the show, it kind of felt like everybody was walking on eggshells around us. They were very grateful for us to show up, but for the most part, it was fun. It was a little nerve-wracking, but, I thought we did okay.
It represented a big achievement for all of us.
I'm not objective as a father, But as far as I'm concerned, Jeremiah was better than anybody on that show.
I think a lot of people thought Jeremiah had it in the bag. USA Today just said Jeremiah was gonna win like the week before. And then here he is, he's eliminated the next week.
I wasn't disappointed. You know, I was actually sort of relieved because all of a sudden the pressure's like, it's not on you anymore. I'd gotten everything that I could out of the show. I still advanced far enough for people to sort of know about me and my music. The real work begins when you are voted off that show.
It's a beautiful day. What are you doing?
We've been talking about making this album for a while.
He'd reached out to me and was basically like, I'm gonna be in LA. And I was like, what are you doing out here? He goes, I'm on American Idol. I was like, get the fuck out of here. You didn't have to fly out here. You're here already. We might as well get started.
Sneaking out the back door.
We started working on this album the end of April.
We kind of had a recording schedule sort of up in the air based around like what he had to do. You know what I remember? Sunday night, you're on TV duetting with Katy Perry on TV. The next morning, we're cutting these 3 songs. I was asking him about like what types of contractual obligations he might have. Would they be able to control what he did or whatever?
Part of the post-Idol contract that I was a part of included this potential for certain conglomerates to pick us up for a contract. It kind of looked like I was going to be doing a 2-single deal. I was excited about that at first.
He said, oh yeah, well, they want me to work with these different producers. I said, take those meetings. They've got a system, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Most people might even be helped by that system.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel hemmed in by our working relationship. Other things will come along.
There's a whole commercial expectation that comes with working with a large entertainment company. I kept getting this weird feedback from some of these executives saying that the music that I was making was not commercially competitive, or the producer that I chose to work with hasn't worked with a big name pop star yet. It was all criticism that didn't have anything to do with the music itself.
Hi-hat stuff, so it kind of just like makes everything shimmer a little. I've tried to do my best to give him perspective on things. I think for any artist to go into that process and say, I'm going to create something that the marketplace will value is a very dangerous place for any artist, because it means you've traded something. You can always give up control, but you can never get it back.
None of this would be happening the way it has happened if there weren't like a fan base that's like stoked about this work.
Yeah.
So what does that say about like where the real power lies? I'm not a huge corporation. I think at the end of the day, it's just another hand in the artist's pocket, taking out their percentage or even just owning the masters. I got defensive. I chose to opt out and like err on the side of being overprotective of my music, even if it meant not having a big chunk of money at the beginning to fund the whole thing.
Aux swelling on the chord? Yeah. Okay, cool.
We've been recording it for about 3 months now, off and on. We've recorded the most raw material that I've ever recorded for an album. We haven't had any money for the studio or for my work or anything. So what we've been doing is just trying to pay musicians and engineers as we've been going along. There are things that are associated with that maybe rear their ugly heads every once in a while, but I didn't want money to be the driving factor of the type of art that we made.
Sanctuary, won't be needed, won't be giving away my freedom.
It feels pretty great to be finishing up my first full-length album. Some of these songs are years old, and it's been a really cool time to see them all come together. It's very honest. not just in like the songs, but the way that they're played. I mean, a lot of it was tracked live.
You are holy to me. You are holy to be. You are whole. You are not incomplete.
I don't like the idea of everybody being in a separate space, because there's something that happens when people get together in a room and just play a song, and you don't let a lot of other stuff get in front of that.
Sally in the sunshine.
I think that changes the energy of the track itself, and you can kind of hear people feeding off of each other musically.
Said the Lord is my light. The Lord is my light.
Chris has an ethos that is unique. It's more about a groove. It's more about establishing something that feels right. If we didn't like that take, we don't go back and try and fix little parts of it. We do another take.
What's happening after the first chorus going into the next verse? That was the only part that felt like flabby, like it should go straight into that, into that verse.
We had no rehearsals until session days. The way that we recorded a lot of these songs forced me into like a limited creative space. That challenged me to bring myself at my best with each session.
Sweet June nectar.
We got in and we didn't really say much. In my limited role that I played on the record, it felt like we were doing something really special. The songs were just really good. The arrangements and the style of recording is rooted in like a classic sound, like pop music of a kind.
But how long can you stay in my own?
I think it harkens back to like a deep strain of pop and soul music. I mean, I think there's some really interesting things he's doing, which might make it hard in the marketplace.
I always enjoy crossing over to different genre styles. It's got a few different sounds and influences on it.
Jeremiah has a really strong compass. I don't think that he has this desire for fame or power or attention the way that a lot of people do. My hope is that we do great work and perhaps the marketplace will reward that work.
We were just recording the rhythm section tracks and afterwards listening back to the rough mixes, and they almost sound finished. His songwriting is fantastic. I really just want to like serve his songs as opposed to, you know, rock out or jam.
It's just like getting to that core emotional tug that the song has or the story that it's trying to tell.
Everything should be a conversation back and forth, you know. What does the song dictate? What does the moment dictate?
And will you look your namesake in the eye? I wonder.
There was one tune called Namesake. We cut a full band version, pedal steel, drums, bass, organ. We recut that tune with just him singing and playing guitar, and that's the one that's gonna go on the record.
Well, somebody said today's your celebration, and who would I be not to wear a smile? So here's to every road that leads to Memphis. Now will you look your namesake in the eye?
For some reason, that just felt more true to the song.
It couldn't be an ego trip where it was like, but we had all these people and this was the bigger sounding thing, the more commercial sounding thing. What's the best sounding thing? Almost Heaven has been an interesting challenge for both of us.
I feel like we're both a little bit on edge with it.
Okay, I've literally listened to this song 100 times today. Through this whole process, we keep trying to like be objective about something that's like almost impossible to be objective about.
Almost Heaven had a lot of pressure around it because that was a song I auditioned with on American Idol.
He wants it to be a mature artistic statement, but then also for whatever audience who's now following his music, they have expectations too.
That really became a challenge for me when it came time to actually record it because I was super nervous and I wanted to get it perfect.
When we reach forever, will there be a place where you and I may find home?
I'm the one to go back and listen to these mixes and be like self-conscious and say, I need to sing this better.
Jeremiah came up with this idea and he goes, while we're working every day, I'll do one take of the song and then we'll move on. And then on day 3, we cut it again. I kind of said something to him like, we might be losing the thread here a little bit. We've gone into such minutia on this song, more than is sustainable even. Sometimes it's the classic like forest for the trees situation.
I was really rigid about how I approached it. I think I had to let go of a lot of that along the way and just let it become what it is.
For Jeremiah and I, on the back end of dealing with that song, we kind of just started spitballing ideas like, man, we could have an orchestra. Let's get an orchestra. All right, here we go. When the Beatles recorded A Day in the Life, there was like a 45-second chunk with a full like 90-piece orchestra. George Martin didn't want to hire a 90-piece orchestra for 45 seconds. Ringo had the idea, said, well, let's get a 45-piece orchestra and we'll record them twice. And so that's kind of what we did. We had like a 9-piece ensemble with 4 strings and 5 brass reeds. And then we just doubled them or tripled them. We just kind of tried to follow the muse and we went wherever that went.
It's a big project, I feel like. The people that I've met that have contributed to this so just like joyfully and generously has like really impacted me. I'm learning a lot about music, but I'm also learning a lot about what community looks like. We brought in a choir. We had the Christian Fellowship Choir, and I had a few of my friends from LA come in and sing.
You have 15 or 20 people in here who've never sung together. Everybody's working on their parts individually. That took us like 2 or 3 hours to cut because people were learning their parts as the night went on.
Whenever you're in a room with someone you don't know and you're like playing music and recording, it requires a lot of trust.
3, 4.
It was amazing to see all these people who came in, listened to the music, and were so generous with their effort and their energy.
Side by side. Home in heaven.
got chills on that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's it. Then we're done.
In a lot of ways, I feel like very detached to that song now. Actually, a lot of the music at this point, I feel like I've recorded it, I've practiced it so much, and now I'm ready to sort of let it go. It's hard to let go of your baby in a way, but it belongs to the fans now. These are experiences that I've had and that I've packaged in a way, and I'm giving them to someone else to accompany them in their own emotional experiences. It's all centering around this concept of home. Is it a physical place? Is it just a feeling that you have? Or is it the people that you're with? And how do you build that? The fact that I've moved so much in my lifetime has really informed a lot of that.
Hey, love, there's a shooting star.
It's kind of difficult to stay in one place, I think, because I'm so used to moving so often. I don't know where I'm gonna be. I've wanted to go to Nashville for a long time, but I can't even imagine being in one place for more than 2 years.
If I catch your eye on your shoulder,
One day I'll just be in heaven forever, and that'll be home. I gotta decide what I'm gonna do and like go for it. Maybe something will open up somewhere.
before she fell to the earth, down by Lake Creed. Let me see the world as through your eyes, and this old one behind me now, 'cause I'm not going back to the way I used to be. No more, no more, no more. Hey, love, show me what it's like to be free, and I'll reach higher than the Clementine before she fell to the earth. Yes, I'll higher than the Clementine before she fell nothing to. For she fell to you. Hey, let me see the world.